Well, you know what they say. Of course, Las Vegas, the gambling capital of America. A lot of races can be won in the final races of the championship, but a season can very much be decided how the first three races go. If you start on the back foot, you are in for a world of hurt. Today, it's time to put it all on black, and if you're deeper in the midfield, this is your last real chance to try and make yourself a title threat. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rempel, alongside Austin Edstrom. We're bringing you all of racing action from the Nevada 150 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Sim Racing Association IEL Truck Series. Austin, it's been a wild first 2 weeks. Two races that have been effectively super speedway races. One guaranteed was Atlanta. Hit or miss depending on how you feel about it. Today, though, it's the first true regular speedway race. Should be a fun one with all 43 trucks, a full grid, ready to take off in Nevada.
Yeah, and with a full 43 truck field, it's almost really like putting it all on green, right? You got just about the same odds, and I would rather put it all on green, knowing that we're on, green flag TV here tonight. So I can't wait to get this thing started. 43 trucks in the field tonight after 45 people attempted to make the field. So like I said, the odds that you win this thing are just about slim to none, but as you mentioned, the first speedway race of the season kind of leads itself more into a skill style of racing rather than, the random crapshoot of Daytona or Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to getting this one started and seeing what this whole full field of cars can do.
We take a look at the championship standings exiting the first few weeks. Paul Witt, the Super Speedway King, taking home the W in the SRA Open at Daytona, while it was Zane Baylor to take home the win just last week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was Anasogak taking home the raceman last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now Justin Anasogak, the rookie, sitting number 2 in the points with Paul Witt on top, LeBon Van Leer in third. Title contender from last season, Zane Bailey in fourth. Aaron Raymond not with the best of starts of the first two races. The repeat champion now sitting all the way back in 6th place in the points, and he's a good way out of those points as well. Raymond's got some work to do if he wants to get back in the picture.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see Aaron Raymond back in 6th place. Just about the only time that we've seen him outside of the top 5 in the point standings in the IEL Trucks Series over the last couple of seasons. But obviously, the point spread not too huge. And we did say the Super Speedways can be a little bit more random. So I imagine Aaron Raymond really looking forward to getting the normal season, I suppose, started out with the Speedway racing today.
Oh, no doubt about it, right? I mean, that super speedway racing was exciting. It was fun. Now we get to see, though, how these races develop through the long term. This is, of course, the first regular speedway race that we got on the calendar, and this is setting us up for a period where we really start to slow things down. It's Homestead next week, then dual short tracks at Bristol Motor Speedway and the Rockingham Speedway, before we pick things up again at Texas and Kansas. The next Super Speedway race is not until Talladega, all the way over in April. That's a long way out. And with 250-mile races in these next 2 weeks, some of the shorter races we have for the championship, these races are more critical than ever.
Yeah, and like you said, Talladega not going to be coming around until April. So I feel like, honestly, as soon as we finish that race right before Talladega, you're really going to kind of have a good idea of who the real points leaders are, or who the real threats for the championship are going into that race. Check out the point standings right before Talladega, and I think you're going to get a good vibe on the 3, 4, 5 championship contenders by the time we get down to the end of the season. Nonetheless, super speedway racing still takes a decent bit of skill, a very specific skill set, but obviously you come back to the speedways, the mile and a halves, like Las Vegas, or the short tracks, like you said, of Rockingham, brilliant racetrack, by the way, Rockingham and Bristol that we're going to be at here pretty soon. It's going to bring a whole different skill set into it, a more consistent skill set that we're going to see these guys need more frequently throughout the entire year. And like I said, right before Talladega, I think we're going to have a good idea of who the real championship contenders are. Heck, even after the race tonight, the guys that run up front all night, you could maybe even pencil them in as potential championship contenders.
We'll get to all of the nuances of what's going to be in store for us this week and over the next few weeks, but for now, it's time to take a step back. We'll get through our opening ceremonies, and then we will return with your starting grid with 43 trucks in just a moment. Time to see who's going to be starting where over the next 100 laps and who could potentially run away with this race here this afternoon. Starting on pole position this afternoon, it is Justin Anasogak, the rookie, really making a name for himself early on here. Paul Witt, the Super Speedway King and current points leader, starting on the front row as well. Jeff Gilmore starts in third with Jim Duda in fourth. Austin Mitchell is in fifth with Austin Rez back in the number 6 spot, making his first start this afternoon. Zachary Mertz did not put down a time in practice. He'll qualify 7th for the Mertz Motorsports number 96. Aaron Raymond, repeat champion, now down in 8th with Thomas Lane Jr. in 9th, and Jared Duda rounding out the top 10.
Starting in 11th is going to be Zane Bailey with John Holiday on his outside in 12th place. Row number 7 is going to be taken up by Bruce Dudley and Cody Witt. Starting back in the 15th place position is Xavier Dawkins Batiste with John Buwalda Jr. in 16th on his outside. Dylan Wilbers and Ryan Wayne take up row number 9 with Chase Modzalowski and LeBon Van Neer rounding out the top 20.
Moving down through the field, Bill Hale starts 21st alongside rookie Aaron May. Noah Swabber 23rd, Michael Gudger in 24th. George Kibrafides started in 25th with Mike Campbell Jr. in 26th. Dylan Grutzmacher over from ASRL starting in 27th with Michael Dow in 28th. Then it's Colmansberger and Amaro to round out the top 30.
Starting back in 31st, we've got Nicholas Braz with Robert Chiswick in 32nd. Brad Slagle starting in the 33rd place spot with Mike Allen on his outside in 34th. Luigi Gonzalez rounds out the top 35 with Ryan McRoberts in 36th. Joshua Hivon 37th. Vince Henschel in 38th. Anthony Lane in 39th. And Michael Campbell rounds out the top 40 with Joshua Jernigan, Dale Rapp, and Lee Tidwell rounding out the field. I believe Kevin Roy and Charlie Birch are your 2 non-qualifiers.
Top 43 make it into qualifying. You can see the field working their way to the back straightaway, just shy of Nellis Air Force Base. And I tell you what, Las Vegas, one of my favorite mile-and-a-halfs. There's never been a boring Vegas race on Green Flag TV. With 43 trucks, tonight's going to be no exception.
We could have a lot of yellows, but other than that, I think you're right. If we get some long Green Flag racing,
my friend.
Well, look, man, this is the first Speedway race of the year. Now, you said the Super Speedways were pretty daggum good, 70 laps, green flag at Daytona. But, man, you come to these mile-and-a-halfs, especially the first one of the season, and a lot of new trucks in the field versus, or new drivers in the field versus years past. Maybe you just don't know people's tendencies just yet, so you just got to be on edge at these on these opening laps.
Well, we'll see how all of this is going to pan on now. The iRacing pace truck going to make its dive into pit road. We're happy that you are joining us once again for racing action on Saturday night prime time. The rookie Anasogak will make his way into the Geico restart zone. It's go, go, go for the gambling capital.
Side by side for the race lead as they funnel down into turn number 1. Anasogak easily cleared down to the race lead into turn number 1. Paul Witt has Jim Duda all over his back bumper as we come through turns 1 and 2, and that 4029's trying to get to the right rear of your race leader as we come down the back.
So far, so clean. Robert Amaro started his race from pit road. He has just made his way out onto the racetrack. The rest of the field still side by side as we fight through turn number 4 to the front straightaway. Witt still looking high. They're 3 by 3 deeper in the field, and right now, Witt leads lap number 1.
Piston out. About no room between a bunch of these guys. LeBon Van Neer stuck in the middle in that number 60 Castrol machine as we head down into turn number 1 and 2. And there's just no room in this through. Wrecking further back. One car heavy into the outside wall, and the yellow flag's going to be flying. Oh, they're still wrecking coming off at turn number 2. The 29 makes some more contact, and they continue to wreck.
A lot of trouble coming off of turn 2, just like Atlanta. An early caution, at least this time, he made it out of the pace lap without wrecking, but a violent wreck. Chiswick and Dow, 2 of the main trucks that got involved. Let's take a look back and find out what happened.
Holy cow. I mean, that ended up being pretty big coming down into turns 1 and 2. You see Michael Allen in the number 29 here looking down to the inside, getting stuck in the middle, maybe sliding up ever so slightly as the 11 came up the racetrack, and the 50 just kind of, I mean, he was up there, plenty of space below him, or at least he left plenty of space, and honestly just got turned in the outside wall as the 29 was adjusting to the 11 coming up the racetrack on the bottom side. And unfortunately, the 50 of Michael Dow, kind of the main, or the guy that kind of took the front, or the most in, the most of the damage is the 50 going into the outside wall. 052 able to scoot through with just minimal contact. Michael Allen, big hit there with the 46 coming down the back straightaway too. Vince Henschel might be out of this race after pounding the inside wall as well.
A heavy hit to the inside wall for Vince Henschel, right on board with the number 46 entry. Independent driver here, not running under any team colors. This is what he saw.
And he feels like he's got it completely clear, but the 29 just comes right back down the racetrack, and you can tell after that first bit of contact, there was just about nothing the 46 could do.
Once more at speed. Hard into the wall for the 50, got kicked up into the air. And that 56 truck, that was Chisholwack that got involved as well. Quite a few trucks coming down to pit road, interestingly enough here. A lot of the front runners, Grutzmacher, Swaffer, Olin, Nicholas Braz start in the top 10. Sorry, he did not start in the top 10, but he is into pit road. One thing that kind of catches me out a little bit here is... Okay, Raymond did not... I thought Raymond came down to pit road. I was wrong. I must have been looking at someone else here and kind of getting the two confused. But interesting call to see so many drivers into pit road this early on. Now, fuel strategy, a constant thing to manage at tracks like this. Allen is sent to the tail for the lap 2 caution.
I'm a little early, and I feel bad for Allen because, you know, he made a move that I felt like was going to be decent going down to the middle of the racetrack. But like I said, the 11... of Jim Coleman'sberger was just kind of slowly coming up the racetrack, and Allen was just trying to give room for him as he was drifting off the bottom. I would still put the fault on the 29. You know, you'd probably rather lift rather than drift up the racetrack into another competitor, but nonetheless, just unfortunate there for Michael, honestly, in the early going. He expected the 11 to hold the bottom side of the racetrack. He failed to do that, and unfortunately Allen made the wrong decision after he saw the 11 coming up.
Was lucky not to get much more damage than he did as well. He also had to come down to pit road for some pretty hefty damage repairs. So we bring this race to a pause early in this one, but still a long way to go. And again, this is what happened at Atlanta, right? We got a couple of early yellows, and then we ran most of the race green. We didn't really get another caution after the initial one around laps 2, and then again at about 40. We didn't get another one until we were like, what, 30 laps to go thereabouts. These guys know how to go long in these races. One of the Las Vegas races that strikes me the most is one of the first ones we ever did. They actually went green after a lap 10 caution all the way until 2 laps to go. Aaron Raymond in that race took a very unique strategy. He was alternating right sides and left sides only for each pit stop. That strategy would have worked. He was up by 20 seconds. That caution cost him the win by 2 foul in overtime.
And I do think that strategy could play a part into this race, like you were mentioning how he was taking 2 tires on the pit stops, but it's not going to be something similar to that, right? The super speedways, you can get away with that. These mile and a halves, you can get away with right side tires once or twice, but you're never going to see somebody come down pit road, just take lefts, unless that's the only tires they got left in the box. So we'll wait and see what kind of strategy comes into play. I imagine it will, because we are, you know, in the gambling capital, but we'll wait and see.
Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Racing action resumes from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great jump from the outside line. Jim Duda taking off at the Team IEL 053.
Yeah, Jim Duda just got a ridiculous jump on that restart. Timed it absolutely perfectly to the 429 going. The problem is, down into turn 1, these guys are not at the full speed yet, so the 429 just easily able to clear them. Coming off of the corner, up to the top, Paul Witt back to the race lead, but he's got the 13 down under him, coming down into turn 3. Justin Anazagak looking back for the race lead after he lost it from the pole.
Anasogak making good drives this afternoon. Chisholwack is around again, this time at the entrance of turn number 3. He's got big damage on the left-hand side. Still no caution, though. Looking like a single truck incident. We will be keeping this one green is what that means. We'll take a look back at that when we have a chance, once all of this settles down. But right now, Anasogak power to the front. Look at this! They're fanning out from 4 behind.
Oh, Aaron Raymond throwing a huge block down the back straightaway. Was not about to let the other Duda get the inside on him. Jared was trying to get it coming out of the corner. Not quite, though. Still side by side for the lead as we come off of turn 4. It might take me a little while to get that Anasogak name, by the way. That's a tough one, but hey, that's not a little bit better.
So there you see that 13 entry ripping through turn numbers 1 and 2. He has got Paul Witt right packed up behind him, and this is not... Oh, trouble back straight away. The 96 going around. That is Zachary Mertz that finds it the wrong way. High ball hard into the inside wall, and a big crash once again puts us under the yellow flag.
It looks like turn 2 might be the trouble spot here tonight. We've seen 2 incidents in just a handful of green flag laps already, about mid-pack, and it's not too surprising. Like I said, the first Speedway race First mile and a half race with 43 trucks on the field, and half of these guys, I believe, are new. It's not too big of a surprise. Goodness gracious.
Looking like he kind of just lost the middle of the straightaway, went hard to the inside wall, probably lost that back end with some of that damage he was nursing from the first crash, and then this is what puts us under the yellow flag. Mertz up on the outside has got the 93 of Austin Rez down low. Oh boy, huge bunch of netcode there to cause that one.
Yeah, that's tough too, right? We were talking about, a lot of these guys don't know each other, know the tendencies, so you might make some mistakes with each other, just kind of learning what each person's driving style is. Man, late hit, they were coming in, a couple of these guys trying to get slowed down for the accident, just couldn't get it slowed down enough. But at the end of the day, even if you give plenty of room to somebody that you don't know very well, sometimes you still just get that netcode bug, man. You don't quite know who's got the good internet and who's got the bad internet, who you can really press right up against. But I'm surprised to see a lot of our leaders coming down pit road already, just on 10.
Jeez, did you see where Highball nailed the wall? There's no safer barrier down there in this scan. He nailed the Jeff Gordon opening.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. Pretty sure Jeff was hurt pretty bad from that one. He didn't have to miss a race, but that's a heavy impact down to the inside wall. Luckily here, no, oh yeah, that's almost a carbon copy for the 41 of what we saw in real life with Jeff Gordon. Luckily, no injuries from iRacing, except for maybe a couple broken fingers every now and again, so he should hopefully be okay.
Top 11 all staying out this time by. Everyone else had come down to pit road. Let's take one more look. This will be on board with Highball.
Yeah, just coming off turn 2. Everybody wrecking in front of him. He's a little late to slow it down, but you can tell whenever he finally gets on the brakes a little bit too hard, the back end just stepped out at the same time, and then once the back end stepped out and he's coming down the racetrack, he made contact with another vehicle and kind of completely turned him sideways. So tough break there for Highball. Yeah, like you said, just minimal netcode contact, and that's all it takes, man. Whenever you get those internet bounces, there's just about nothing you can do. But man, these guys came flying in like crazy with a guy stuck sideways in the middle of the racetrack.
You saw the 14 as well also loop it and tag the inside wall as he was trying to keep it out of these guys. It could be difficult to slow these trucks down at some points, and we saw a few near misses at Daytona with drivers trying to just get on the brakes for pit road alone. I think there were about two at least, maybe three different pit road crashes and another 2 near misses on top of that.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to be the end of it. There's going to be a handful more of these, but I am kind of surprised to see that turn 2 seems to be the trouble spot. Of course, that one was netcode, so it's a little bit more difficult to judge that one, but I would really expect turn 4 as these guys start getting tight coming out of that corner as they're 2 wide or even 3 wide. I would expect some minor contact leading to spins coming back down across the racetrack and towards the apron, towards the infield grass. But so far, it's just been turn 2 creating all of the issues. I'm a little surprised. 1 and 2, typically an easier corner, I'd say, at Las Vegas. Easier to be side by side, easier to be 3 wide. So we'll just have to wait to see if that trend continues.
Turn 3, Paul Witt with Jim Duda just alongside him. They will work together to make their way off of turn number 4, and we will try again. See how this is going to pan out. Green flag back in the air on lap number 12. Again, another pretty solid launch from Duda up top, but expect this to go the same way as the last caution, or the last restart did, with Paul Witt easily taking that one away. We're already 3 wide mid-pack with LeBon Vendelier.
Yeah, like you said, another good restart from Duda. This time, though, he's got another Duda right behind him. We got 2 Dudas on the outside of the racetrack, bump crafting down the back straightaway, trying to keep the momentum over Aaron Raymond, who's trying to get through from second. Raymond qualified back in 8th place, a little bit shabby off of his standards, but man, he has quickly gotten up to the top 3 and trying to take 2nd place away from Duda.
Father-son duo right now battling down in the turn number 1. Raymond thought about 3 wide for the lead down the inside of 1. Thought better of it, decides to back out. Probably a very wise move there. Zane Bailey going up top, and just behind him now, you got guys like Aaron May that are right now right on that loud pedal. They are trying to party up in this madhouse as well for the lead.
Jared on the outside, second car on the outside in the 53. And I would honestly, he's got to be a little bit more careful through 1 and 2. He's pushing Jim in the 053 through the corner through turn 2 on that last time around. You can get away with that at Atlanta or Daytona, but man, here in Las Vegas, you're playing with fire, man. But this time, giving him a little bit more breathing room, and that's allowing Jim to get ahead of steam down the back straightaway as he starts doing a little bit of a blinky dance.
Still side by side, however many rows back you can count as we fight off of turn 4. These two for the lead have not gotten single file, I think, pretty much the entire race so far. So right now, it's all eyes on the leaders. Lap 15, 14 are in the books already in this race, and that's with 2 cautions under our belt as well. This race just flying by. Whip being pushed by Raymond, while the 2 Dudas trying to work together up top, and below them, rookie Aaron May trying to make some more waves in the water here.
How long will Aaron Raymond, second car on the inside, and that number 6, be patient? Because he has been all over the back bumper of Paul Witt the entirety of this run so far, and he already looked low 1 time. He's not going to be looking to sit in that second place position for very long. We know Aaron Raymond is super aggressive. Wants that race lead as soon as he can get it. How long will he stay patient? Paul Witt's clear to the top, but man, he knows how aggressive Aaron Raymond is. He's blocking him down the back straightaway.
And as well as that, John Bualda Jr. also blocking the number 90 machine of Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez. You saw him kind of blocking him down to the apron on the back straightaway as well. And that's starting to slow everybody from about 19th on down. So 18th on up, we're in one big pack here. Then it's about a 1 second gap back to Bale Hales, John Bualda Jr., and more. Paul Witt trying to clear low, no room. Raymond forces the issue down low, and Witt is forced up high.
Witt overdrove the corner ever so slightly, and that let Aaron Raymond get the clean air on his nose for the first time. And man, he's using it quickly. He's washing up the racetrack. The door of Paul Witt out of turn number 4. A little bit of contact. Witt's going to be the aggressor on that one and take the race lead. Aaron Raymond slipping back to a side-by-side battle for 5th.
3 wide now. Now Aaron May gets into Raymond. Jared Duda cuts to the inside of his father. Trouble behind. Mitchell sliding. Can he hang on? Catch it in turn 2. 4 wide off in the corner. They're somehow going to wrangle it together on the Nellis straight away. But a huge snap for Austin Mitchell.
How the hell did Mitchell hang on to that thing? He was dead sideways through the entire corner. He looked like
Pure
Jamie McMurray
luck.
back in the day in the 26.
That's how he did that. Pure luck right there for Austin Mitchell as he kicked that tail end sideways. What a race that we're having here at Vegas. Like I predicted, you cannot go wrong with Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You just can't. It's such a fantastic racetrack.
Holy cow. And, the lap count limit kind of plays into this a little bit as well, right? You got to get your positions now. This is not a long race. We've had 2 cautions, and we're already 20 laps into this thing. I mean, it is going to fly by. You can see a late move from the 16 down to the inside of Austin Mitchell. Little bit of contact. Mitchell's dead sideways for half the corner and somehow hangs onto that thing. Almost washes up into the 57. Thankfully, he got given room off of turn number 2. Jeff Gilmore, great job doing what you could to get that position and staying off of him. And we stay green.
That was unbelievable. You don't just recover a truck that went into the wall there in the middle of this group. I think that was Ryan Wade that just caught the fence down the middle of the Nellis straightaway. He's able to get that thing back underneath him, but now we're single file for much of this field. And looking like we're single filing out elsewhere throughout the pack as well. I think drivers have really started to realize this is still a long race. There's still a long way to go, and we're racing way too aggressively early on.
You just kind of have to, man. You get put, side by side on these restarts. Everybody gunning for every little bit that they can in the early going. But you also got to know that you got to save the tires ever so slightly, because if you do get that long green flag run, man, 10, 15 laps into the session or into the run, your tires are going to be gone if you've been stuck side by side the entire time. So these guys at the front are extremely happy that some of this contact has happened. People have saved their race cars because they've finally been able to be single file, but man, a little bit more contact coming down the front straightaway. The 45 and 052 getting into it as we come down to 1.
That was Brad Slagle and Chase Mazalewski that both made a bit of contact there. Slagle will be able to pick off the 21st place spot. The CRM Racing Home Depot Toyota Tundra drops back to 22nd as a result. Now he's under fire from Bruce Dudley in the Menards number 21 as Dudley tries to fight his way down to the low side of the racetrack for his Team IEL machine. Dudley has had some mixed results in his early SRA career, trying to look for more this afternoon, and this is the battle for the spots right around the top 10 with Mitchell and Asogak and Jeff Gilmore.
These guys guys all racing hard. Even towards the front of the field, they're starting to get, a little feisty again. They had single filed out, but now side by side for third place. Aaron Raymond is driving around the outside of Jared Duda right now and trying to get to the outside of Jim Duda as well, coming off of turn number 4. He's going to be able to take third. Not quite able to take second, but he's got a minor run on Duda right in front of him. I just wouldn't want to be in a Duda sandwich if you're Aaron Raymond. I don't think either of those Dudas like him very much.
Well, there's history there, right? You and I both know of that history. It stems all the way back to the mini stock series. It escalated, it festered all throughout the preseason races, and it's still there. We've still seen that aggression from these two drivers in the first 2 races. There hasn't really been anything yet, but they're definitely ones to watch whenever they get around each other, because I think there's kind of a mutual understanding. We're not going to try to dump each other, but we're not exactly to cut each other any breaks either.
Yeah, I don't think that any of them have ever cut each other any breaks. We know during the micro stock season that we had, just in the winter, there was big contention between a couple of these guys. Raymond got into it, one of the Dudas, after about the 2nd or 3rd race of the season, and it ended up being a big shebang that we talked about consistently for the rest of the year. But man, the
boy.
53 down to the inside. He's not done with them yet. Jared Duda is not done with Aaron Raymond. Raymond just took that spot. Already Duda looking back to the inside.
Oh, trouble over front straightaway. Kirafita is going around along with Joshua Jernigan and more. Coleman's Burger up against the outside wall. Caution comes out for the 3rd time today, and that is going to put a stop in our festivities. But what a stint that we had. What a shame that had to come to an end like that.
I got to think we're going to see a lot of guys come down and take tires here. Only a 100-lap race. 4 tire sets total throughout the entire race. So the one that you start on and 3 behind the pits, this would be the perfect time, cutting this thing into 4ths. But man, big accident coming off of turn number 4 with the 11 caught right in the middle of it. Did I see that right? Was it a little bit of net code off of turn 4 again?
Little bit, but I think with how the 29 of Allen was pushing up, they were probably going to get into each other anyway, in all fairness.
Yeah, I think you're right. Watching it back, I do think that they were probably going to get into it nonetheless. But that's kind of more what I was expecting. I was expecting the guy on the bottom a little bit further into a run to start getting tight and wash up into the car on the outside, or excuse me, the truck on the outside. And that's the first of those actions that we've seen today. But that's the one that I think is going to be the most consistent. Coming out of turn 4, for whatever reason, if you miss that bottom ever so slightly, the nose of the truck just wants to push up the racetrack. And we see that from Michael Allen there. Just pushing up the racetrack. Unfortunately, the 22 looked like he had this thing just about missed. But getting collected as they come down to the apron. Just a couple of hard contacts for people further back in the pack. Tough for Michael Allen, considering he's already been in an accident earlier, and then coming off of turn number 4, yet another one.
And here comes the entire field coming down to pit road. This one I'm not surprised about. Field window tends to be about 30-ish laps. So, yeah, this is about right on schedule for everyone to make their way on in.
Excuse me, like I said, they've only got 3 sets of tires behind the pit wall and the one that they started on. So for total, you do the math, 25 laps on each set of tires. Now you would hope to keep a set for the very end of this race, just in case there's a caution. But with there being 43 cars in the field, let's say only 7 to 10 cars end up saving a set just in case they get that late caution. You'd be starting outside of the top 25 on a late race restart, and I don't think that would even be enough time to get back up to the front of the field if you had saved a tire set, even against a bunch of old tires. So obviously we'll have to wait and see, but like you said, not a surprise to see these guys coming down pit road right now, taking 4 fresh tires, and just kind of regathering themselves before this next restart.
So here's something interesting. Nicholas Braz staying out this time by. I am very, very curious about this. It's not often you see, just one lone driver staying out like this. And, well, I wish it was in a voice channel. We could bring him in and ask him about that strategy, but nowhere to be found. So he will keep his secrets, it seems.
Well, not only that, Paul Witt and Duda, they didn't take tires. And I got to think that there's a couple others towards the front of this field that didn't either.
So I'm actually not surprised by that. Jim Duda, by the way, did take tires. He took 2. I think he took 2 right sides. He was 11 seconds in the box. But I'm not surprised by this.
Jared.
So remember how these races work, right? They deliberately limit the fuel down to about 60%. And they deliberately give you 1 less tire sets than you have fuel stops. That is by design. They do that to force a fuel-only stop, and that way it opens up the strategy game a lot more. So this is on purpose from the league, and I feel like that's kind of what allows to a lot of the great races that these guys are known for. It's something that not a lot of leagues subscribe to, right? A lot of the leagues, they tend to give you one more set than fuel runs, or right on the number. They don't tend to deliberately give you one less. Now, the reason why these guys can get away with it, it's because they've only got about half a tank of fuel in these trucks, or just over that number.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of these leagues a whole heck of a lot more fun whenever you limit the tire sets, you limit the fuel, you create strategy options. Because if you don't, I mean, you just be coming down pit road every single caution, taking tires like we used to see back in like 2018 on iRacing before we had the tire set limits, and it just brings that strategy into it. You can be the fastest guy on the racetrack, make a mistake on the strategy, and finish 20th. You know, it's a lot more like what you would expect from a real NASCAR race. Of course, on iRacing, we have to do some tinkering with the fuel strategy or the fuel mileage and the tire sets, but I'm here for it. I love it. It makes the racing fantastic, and the first 30 laps have been nothing short of fantastic.
Race truck is in this time by Paul Witt, leading the way as he will get us into the guide car restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and we're back underway.
And this is going to be a contentious restart. A lot of these guys on different tire strategies, some on 0, some on 2, some on 4. Who's it going to work out for the most? A lot of these guys that did not take tires are more than likely going to be open for a relatively quick caution. And still, 2x2 all throughout the field, just about. Oh, the 24 just finding a hole in front of the 9 down into turn number 1. Aaron Meg with a daring move down to the bottom to try to clear the nose of that number 9 of John Holiday. Able to take the position down the back straightaway and find himself in a little bit of a hole. And the two Dudas now stuck on the bottom side of the racetrack instead of the top.
And caution already, this time in turn 3. And it is Michael Allen that has gone into the outside wall. Looking like Anthony Lane potentially with trouble as well.
I don't think that Michael Allen is going to be visiting Las Vegas anytime soon. He might lose all his money if he comes here in real life, given the fact that he's been a part of 3 incidents already in the first 30 laps or so. Coming down into the bottom of turn number 3. Wow. Man, he's already sideways. No contact. Just lost it.
That is a weird one, and nowhere for the 39 of Cody Witt to go. That's a hard lick into the outside wall. That's a very strange crash, though. You don't have to see a truck just snap like that on entry.
I imagine he put on 4 tires, and just cold tires got the best of them, but to your point, you don't ever see that. It almost looks like he downshifted, going down into turn 3 without the back end just kicked out. Right on the top side of the racetrack, maybe you get caught in the marbles, lose a little bit of grip. On the bottom, I'm surprised. Turn 3 and 4, normally a tighter corner. Typically, like I mentioned earlier, the nose starts pushing on the exit of 4 due to your entrance into 3, and he entered the same speed as everybody around him. It looked like, but man, the back end just stepped around on him.
There was another truck that got into the wall as well. Dylan Wilbur's having an incident at the same point for the Raymond Motorsports number 16 on board with him, and he got turned. He got turned by Gonzalez.
Little contact with the outside wall. I feel like he's going to have to come down pit road to get that looked at, get the damage fixed. But honestly, that's a great job of mitigating the damage. And the 90s should give him a whole hell of a lot more room there than that. I don't know why he's so far up the racetrack.
Did you see how close Slagle was to getting caught up in this?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Slagle. Holy crap. How in the world did he get through there? No damage whatsoever. We've seen the netcode bug by a couple people. It was nowhere to be seen. Slagle able to get down to the inside, slide right through, even though you could just about only fit maybe 2 or 3 sheets of paper between those 2 cars.
Quite a few drivers are unfortunately down and out of this race early on. It looks like this is going to be one of the more chaotic races that we see over the course of the afternoon. It's a bit of a tough break for a lot of drivers, right? I mean, you hope to not see so many cautions early on, especially from a league that's been well known to have some phenomenal green flag runs. Remember, about 70 laps we went green just about at Daytona in the season opener, but it's like you said at the start of the show, right? The racing here is a lot more different than you get at those plate tracks. It tends to be a lot less organized, a lot less status quo, a lot more unpredictable.
Well, and honestly, the first 5 to 10 laps in the trucks in a mile and a half, especially Vegas, act like a super speedway. They look like a super speedway with them all being 2x2x2, pushing each other down the straightaways. But you're still dealing with the handling stuff in the corners that you typically don't deal with at those super speedways. Atlanta, you somewhat deal with it. But here, or excuse me, Daytona, you don't deal with it whatsoever. There are no handling issues at a place like Daytona, very minor at Atlanta. Here at Las Vegas, it's huge. I mean, we just saw a car self-spin coming down into turn number 3 on the restart. So whenever you're lined up 2x2 like you're in a super speedway, but you can't race the corners like a super speedway, it becomes much, much more difficult if the guy in front of you makes even the slightest mistake. Just loses the back end ever so slightly, but they could normally save it if they were by themselves. Well, you're tucked up right behind that back bumper. There's going to be some contact, unless your name is Brad Slagle, apparently.
Lights are out aboard the iRacing pace truck. We'll restart this race on lap 34. Paul Witt, Zane Bailey, Justin Anisogak has fought his way back to 3rd. Jared Duda, Aaron Raymond, and Jim Duda will bring up the first 3 rows. Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Oh, a bit of a concertina on that bottom lane, but they'll get out of it, and we're back to green.
And again, these guys up at the front didn't take tires, so we're going to have to wait to see who on newer tires, whether they took 2 or 4, comes up challenges for the race lead first. Looking at the number 13 here on the bottom. Not sure if he was the guy that took tires or not, but on that last restart, he gained a couple positions. Now all over the back bumper of Paul Witt coming out of turn 2.
And there's a little bit of 3 wide just behind. LeBon Van Leer powering around the outside. That 23 truck of Ryan McRoberts is hemorrhaging spots right now. Still 3, looking for 4. Jared Duda backs out for the top shelf, and we're 3 wide for the lead.
Sogak on the outside, trying to rip the fence around these 2 on the bottom. Aaron Raymond with a huge move down to the bottom, trying to use the 2 new tires that he put on that number 6 to use. He's got the most grip down to the bottom of the racetrack. Paul Witt sliding up, pushing Anna Sogak way out to the wall, but still 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Aaron Raymond
clears to the lead.
Raymond takes the lead. Austin Mitchell, a truck that we saw sideways about 20 laps ago, now shoves his way to the number 2 spot. They're on a breakaway. Gunter and Witt side by side for 3rd on back, while everyone else fanning out down the front straightaway.
About Austin Mitchell, what a rebound after being completely sideways through turns 1 and 2 just a handful of laps ago. Now all over the back bumper of Aaron Raymond for the lead as they continue to race hard further back in the pack. Jared Duda in that number 53 kind of struggling as the 7 is actually going out to the inside of Aaron Raymond, and 3 and 4 for the race lead. 3 wide further back, but the 7 is looking for the lead.
Austin Mitchell to the point in the tri-oval. They're 3 by 3 further behind, while everyone else slicing and dicing their way back down into turn number 1. It's again a who's who. Where do you put the shot? Mitchell clears Raymond. Raymond with the crossover. Look at the over-under from the number 6. He hits the Dallas straightaway.
Can't believe he got the speed while turning the wheel as much as he did off of the corner to be able to get the momentum to completely clear down into turn 3. Now can Austin Mitchell do the exact same thing that Aaron Raymond just pulled on him? No, he just does not quite have the run. Looking to the outside down the front straightaway, trying to get back to that right rear, and Aaron Raymond's going to let him have it. Michael Gudger going with the 7 down the straightaway, but Austin Mitchell looking back for the race lead, trying to take it once again.
Trying to go to the high side. Raymond shuts the door, trying to keep him out, but Mitchell is there. Austin Mitchell trying to go to the point down then on the straightaway. Raymond with the inside. Mitchell up top. Gudger waited in the wings. Raymond's right there. Clears. No! Mitchell gets the nose back in up top.
Oh, I thought Raymond was going to slide across the nose, and I think Mitchell was thinking the same thing. It looked like he wanted the over-under, but instead forced to the top side of the racetrack once again through 1 and 2. These guys just not going to give up the fight for the race lead, and Gudger's just sitting there in 3rd like, you know what, I'll chill here and save my tires a little bit as you guys continue to just destroy each other up here for the lead. I mean, absolutely no holds barred between the top 2, and Gudger's just waiting for them to make a mistake.
Aaron Raymond has not had the best of start to these first 2 weeks. He knows he's in a critical position if he wants to be in that title fight by season's end. This time he cleared, but Mitchell pulled the Raymond on him and took it to the inside of the SP Designs number 6. That desperation setting in early in the season here for the number 6. It's a very competitive field. Raymond recognizes that. He cannot afford to have a bad week.
And man, he's driving the 7 all the way down to the apron. Sidetrack between the 2, almost contact down into turn number 3. I mean, have we been single file for the lead all night? Because it doesn't feel like it. These 2 absolutely going at it, coming off of turn 4, and they're catching a little bit of lap traffic. 1 lap car in front of them that's been involved in an incident earlier. Could that car come into play?
That's Joshua Jernigan. They're about to lap Mitchell still screaming to the bottom side of turn numbers 1 and 2. Austin Mitchell, can he fend off the number 6 up top? Aaron Raymond getting the drive around him, and Raymond clears for the race lead, this time by down to the turn number 3.
And Mitchell regroup whatsoever through 3 and 4, finding the clean air on the entry so that he can turn that car through the center of the corner, maybe rotate it ever so slightly better to get a run down the front straightaway, but it's just not going to be enough.
Come on, front straightaway!
Oh, 2 cars mowing the grass through the front straightaway. This 052 of Brad Slagle just trying to hang on through the dirt, able to hang on to it, coming back on the racetrack, and we stay green. Side by side for the lead again.
No caution, we keep it green. We will get back to what happened there in a moment between Slagle and Swafford. Right now, though, double file for the lead. Contact again as Raymond muscles Mitchell up the track.
Ooh, Aaron Raymond loves pushing guys out towards the top of the racetrack earlier than they want to go there. Whenever he's side by side, you can tell he's got that aggressive nature. He's got the elbows out, and he's just not willing to give room. Look at him still washing the 7 up the racetrack on entry, not letting Austin get down as low as he wants to through the corner.
Raymond's got to be very careful with that, though. He's made a lot of enemies in this league by doing that. And if he keeps doing that, eventually the guy who races is going to pissed off enough to do the exact same thing back, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, you put yourself in a dangerous position being that aggressive. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to watch from the broadcast. I absolutely love it. But man, if I was behind the wheel of the number 7, you know, you get one of those, maybe 2 of those. By the time you do it the 3rd time, you're going into the fence, buddy. I don't care anymore. I can't believe Austin Mitchell's had as much patience as he has.
Raymond blocking down low, still trying to keep Austin Mitchell at bay. He's gonna pull clear this time by in 3. Mitchell with the drive, gets to the right rear in 4, gets to the outside, and we're not done yet.
I cannot believe that these 2 are still fighting this hard for the race lead, and Gutcher's still just sitting back there about the same distance behind him as he has the entire run. I think for sure he'd make a run at this lead at some point, as they have just been slowing each other down through the corners, down the straightaways, but the pace that they're setting side by side is better than just about anybody else in the field right now, single file.
Critically, though, Ryan McRoberts, the number 23, is starting to close. Raymond's going to get clear this time by. This is what happened to Slagle and Swafford coming out the corner. Slagle just got loose, and Swafford went with him. Great save from both of these trucks, though. They hop across the infield, and it ended up not being a yellow.
And they're side by side for the lead again. Mitchell got a run out of turn number 4 and somehow got to the outside of Aaron Raymond. Now really tucking it down on the quarter panel. Just getting behind him, giving it a tap out of turn number 2. Raymond sideways down the back straightaway. Hangs on to it as we're still side by side coming to 3.
They cannot get this sorted, and if they don't settle this soon, not only is it going to end a disaster amongst themselves, but then they'll fight for 4th on down. It's going to catch them. Raymond's into the wall this time by out the front straightaway. Mitchell's still trying to close him in, and now Gudger again sitting right there with the biggest grin on his face right now, as these 3 showing no signs of giving up the grudge match.
I mean, these 2 have just been running each other so hard. I know that there are a couple of the guys that took tires, so they've got newer rubber than a lot of people in the field, but man, you're using it up so early in this run. If we run green, these 2 are both going to fall throughout the pack towards the end of this run. Raymond able to clear off a turn number 4 again. Can Mitchell get any type of run to get side by side again down the front straightaway? He's looking to the right rear once again. The number 7 just will not give up the battle for the lead.
Oh my goodness, as Mitchell still trying to get something working with him around the top shelf. Raymond seeking down low, clears, and will Mitchell go for the over-under? Of course he would. Why wouldn't he? This is a case of both drivers wanted to lead this race, and neither driver wants to sacrifice their pride by running number 2. Mitchell sliding up the track in turn 4. Raymond able to get the nose back in around the high side and clears down the front straightaway. And now Gudger finally makes his move for 2nd.
The 7 finally got the inside of the racetrack, but he drove it in just a little bit too deep down into turn number 3 without clearing the 6. If he would have cleared the 6, he would have been able to drive off the corner just fine with the line that he was running. But being stuck down on that inside, getting pitched down toward the bottom of the racetrack, just got him out of the gas pedal. He had to lift, and that let the 64 of Michael Gudger through to 2nd. Now, does Gudger have anything for Raymond?
We'll come back to that if Gudger ends up getting up to Raymond, but for now, let's take a look at things that are going on deeper in the field. This is the fight for 15th on back. Anna Sogak, the 4 of, that is not the 4. Sorry, I'm not sure who that is. I think that is, that's Kira Fidesz right now. Scores the 47, but 4 on the race truck, and he's in the battle with Dudley, Whip, Bowalda, and other heavy hitters in the league.
Yeah, Paul Whip, one of the guys that did not take tires. He has consistently dropped through the field through this run. Remember, he started up on the front row. Now back in the 19th place position, just hoping and praying for a caution. The guys that didn't take tires, if this thing runs green, they're screwed. Actually, Paul Witt coming down pit road already on lap 50.
So Paul Witt will pit right at the halfway point, 50 down, 50 to go. Gudger got within a tenth of Raymond a couple laps ago, but still not able to get enough to really reel that gap in. Already, it's shocking that we are halfway through this race.
It's flown by. I mean, it always flies by. Whenever they're just side by side for the lead, Aaron Raymond, speaking of the lead, is pitting from the race lead. The number 6 coming down pit road. Just one lap after the first handful of guys decided to come down. He's got one follower behind him as well. So the green flag pit stop cycle starting to kick off here.
Jeff Gilmore pitting as well this time by. So is Vince Henschel. That's not Henschel, sorry. That is Chiswick coming down to pit road this time by as well. Have we really already gotten through an entire fuel stint? That is unreal to me. It looks like we have, because here comes Gudger to pit road.
Well, remember, we did pit a little bit after the lap 25 mark in that first pit sequence. They pitted around lap 30. They're a little early. They're a little early because they're trying to split this thing more into thirds now with this green flag run, because they expect, you know, if we run 70 laps green, we got to split this thing into thirds. This is just about on that third mark, but still, even then, I think it's a little early. It's about 1 or 2 laps earlier than I would have expected from a guy like Aaron Raymond, who was leading the race.
Austin Mitchell staying out for one more. So is Wayne. Mick Roberts, though, will be the next driver to hit pit road under green flag conditions for the number 23 Toyota Tundra. Makes a quick duck into his pit box as well. Dale Rapp is into pit road this time by. We're tracking the battle for fifth now between Austin and Rez. Rez making his SRA IEL Truck Series debut this afternoon. He is fighting it out with Levon Van Leer.
Levon Van Leer just trying to hang on to that position. You can see it was really tight coming out of turn number 2 the last time by between these guys. Van Leer able to hang on to the position for now. You just look at all those trucks coming down pit road or coming out of their pit stalls right now. We can tell the green flag cycle is in full effect, but a lot of these guys still staying on the racetrack 4 or 5 laps after the initial pitters. And up at the front, Mitchell, you can tell that those tires were hurting for Austin Mitchell after that battle with Raymond, because he is struggling. Brian Wayne able to go around the outside, and it looks like Wayne's going to take the lead.
Wayne was not a factor in that battle for the lead at all when Mitchell and Raymond were going at it with each other. So Ryan Wayne able to drive around the outside. He'll pick up the top spot. Here comes everyone else now over turn 4. Still got drivers coming in. This is the dangerous part now. You got a lot of drivers. Oh, no! Tolbensberger almost goes into the inside wall. Good catch there, though, but again, this is the dangerous part. You got a lot of drivers now that were in the middle of trying to get into pit road, now surrounded by a lot of drivers that are freshly out of pit road.
And this is the point of the race where a lot of these guys that have pitted are just holding their breath, fingers crossed, cheeks clenched, hoping that the caution flag does not fly. And like you mentioned, you got to be careful coming off of turn number 4. These mile-and-a-halfs where you got to duck down onto pit road immediately out of the corner. It's dangerous. It is so dangerous, man. You got to make sure that you call it out and let the people behind you know, because if you don't, you could just get absolutely rear-ended harder than you do all night, being 100 miles an hour off the pace. So you got to just continue to pay attention to these guys coming down for their pit stops, whether they get in cleanly or not, because that could be where the caution flag flies.
Once you get out of the initial 5 to 10 laps or so of a green flag run, the most likely place caution would come from is around the green flag pit stops, because of all the differences in lines that drivers are constantly taking when you're trying to duck around all of this slower traffic. You still, by the way, have everybody from 12th on up yet to pit, which is a bit insane to me that we're going this long on these. Sorry, 18th on up is yet to pit. Aaron Raymond, though, critically is on the lead lap. Austin Mitchell is in, but I think it's too late.
Yeah, Mitchell, he's going to have a tire advantage, but well, to be honest, these guys that are pushing it late, I got to imagine under the next pit stop, they're only going to be taking 2 tires. They can pit around lap 80. No, excuse me, they can pit around lap 90. It could be a splash and go or just a 2-tire pit stop for the people that pushed it this late. The guys that pitted early, I almost feel like they're stuck in that 4-tire pit stop sequence for the next time that they come down. I think we're starting to see the strategies come into play here.
Ryan Wayne, Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez, Laban Van Leer, Bill Hales, Justin Anasogak, and more all in the pit road this time as well. A lot of drivers now making their way in for their first official green flag stops of the night. This is going to cycle pretty much everybody back through, save for Grutzmacher, Bailey, and Anthony Lane. They are the only drivers that have not come down to pit road yet.
And how long can they push it? How long can they push it? That's the big question. I mean, if they can somehow push this thing to 63, 64, they might be able to make this thing on just the one stop if they continue to save, right? The strategy play could be absolutely massive if guys like Grutzmacher, Bailey, Wayne, if they stay out on the racetrack. Well, Zane Bailey coming down pit road. So that one kind of puts that one to rest. Wayne came down the lap before, but Grutzmacher here still out on the racetrack. Has he been playing a little bit of fuel saving games?
Could have. Bailey's in the pit road, still waiting on Dylan Grutzmacher to make his way down. Aaron Raymond now out by 4 seconds over Michael Gudger. Same, it's even more for Paul Witt. He's back to, we're talking now, a 10-second gap over Paul Witt. Here's the kicker, though. 2-tire stop for Raymond.
That's interesting. I guarantee that
it's the same strat that's brought him so close to so many wins in these types of racetracks.
Absolutely. I like it because, like I said, I thought that these people that pushed it a little bit longer could afford to do the 2-tire pit stop lane. But the thing is, the left side tires don't wear all that much. And even with Raymond fighting so hard in that last stint, going 20, 25 laps on the stint, the left sides were probably okay. So if you just take the 2 tires this time, you're going to be a little slower than the guys that took 4, but you put a huge gap over a lot of those guys on the pit stop time alone. Come down, take 4 tires the next time to make sure that you're at the absolute peak of your potential on that last stint of the race. I like the strategy from Aaron.
So Aaron Raymond will remain out in front. He's going to be down to the strategy, but right now, Raymond's main pit strategy is gambling on the fact he's hoping that he has enough of the gap that he can maintain over the course of this race, because if he can get to the next pit stop window without losing the lead, he can just repeat the same strategy on the other side and rinse and repeat to the end of the race. That's how he saves his set of tires instead of taking a fuel-only stint like everyone else.
I definitely like to see the strategies play out. Obviously, we're going to have this long green flag run kind of exhaust itself, really push itself to the limit to be able to see how the strategies are going to play out. Right now, it looks really good for Aaron Raymond, but we just got to pay attention to guys like Nick Roberts, Witt, Mitchell. How much does that time decrease over the course of the next 15, 20 laps until these guys come back down pit road once again? And then are any of these guys going to take 2 tires on that pit stop and be able to cut into Raymond's deficit, because we expect him to take 4 next time since he took 2 this time. We can see McRoberts is slowly cutting down the lead from 3rd. Even Gudger up in 2nd is slowly cutting down the lead as well. If McRoberts can get to 8, 7, 6 seconds behind Raymond before the pit stop and then take 2 tires, he very well could be in this thing.
They see the pit strategies for the top 15 all race long. And right now, you can kind of see who's gambling on this race going long. Austin Mitchell all the way back and forth is the first driver that went long on his stint. Credit to him, he didn't drop as far as he would. He still is in the 4th place spot. He's now within 10 seconds of Aaron Raymond. Now, this is the critical thing. How much is Mitchell closing on Raymond right now? The answer, well, this is back to Ryan McRoberts at least, but I can tell you what, it's not by much, because Mitchell just got himself into 3rd, and right now, Mitchell's closing in by about 7/10 of a second a lap, at least.
Oh, that's huge. That is massive how much he's catching in on Aaron Raymond. And now it's going to come down to when does Aaron Raymond come down pit road to take the 4 tires.
8.5.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Mitchell might be in the driver's seat here. He might have played this perfect, catching him that much, and he made a pass that lap, by the way, and he was able to cut down to 8.5 tenths. Raymond could be a sitting duck. He's going to have to play this perfect in terms of when he decides to come down pit road.
Let's check one more time. This time at the line, 31.429 for Aaron Raymond. And Raymond's lap times are pretty consistent over the last few laps or so, but Mitchell is a little bit more consistent with how much he's gaining. 6.5 tenths that time by. Not much, but not as much, but it's still a sizable number. Raymond is nowhere safe for that lead, and Michael Gudger in between them is closing in throughout that gap as well.
Yeah, Mitchell just has to continue to run really good lap times. Continue to put Raymond under pressure. I guarantee you Aaron Raymond is looking at that gap, seeing how quickly Mitchell is catching the number 6 of Raymond, and even Gudger too back there in second. Because you got to expect a couple of these guys are going to take 2 tires onto the next pit stop. And we think Raymond has to take 4, considering he took 2 last time. He should lose a good chunk of time on a handful of these guys over the last set of green flag pit stops. Unless he, surprises me and goes for 2 again. But I wouldn't run 70 laps on my left side tires, but he would have to do that if he decides to take 2 again.
Taking a look at other battles throughout the field, this is the fight for 9th. Van Sogak pulling clear of Jim Duda, Laban Van Leer, and Jared Duda. You were watching the fight for 14th a little ways down the field, and then just behind them, the fight for 19th between Wilbers, Grutzmacher, and Dudley, as they work their way now to the pit straightaway. And then here's for spots inside the top 5 with Mitchell, Way, McRoberts, May, and Gonzalez still within relative striking distance of each other.
Still a lot of hard battles throughout the field. Mitchell continues to run down your race leader, under 7.5 seconds now between those two. But like you mentioned, May, Gonzalez, both side by side, coming down the front straightaway. McRoberts in the battle as well. All these guys fighting it out for the 5th place position. All of them want a spot in the top 5.
Nearly 3 wide behind as Campbell, they might have been 3 wide as Campbell on old tires started to go on the backslide here a little bit. There he is, Paul Witt looking to the inside, and a Sogak ripping around the top shelf of Paul Witt. And that is 9 lap pressure tires that work for you right there.
Makes it passing easy, but every time that you come up on somebody, you're just hoping you minimize time loss, right? You never know how much time making a pass could cost you, even if you've got a handful of lap pressure tires. And I gotta, oh man, tight between those 2 coming down into the corner. Holy cow, the 90 and the 24 just about wrecking each other down into turn 3.
Gonzalez and May getting the elbows out a little bit. We are now within that window. If you pit now, you can go to the end of the race on fuel. So fuel no longer a question if you come down to pit road. Now the strategy is all down to tires.
And when is the first person going to pull the trigger? That's my big thing. When is the first person going to pull the trigger and come down pit road? That is the big question. We can make it to the end if you come down pit road right now, but is it too early to come down with 27 laps to go?
I think it is. I think you got to try to run these tires out. You don't pit until the next guy in front of you pits. We are in a game of chicken right now.
I agree for the most part, but if you're a guy like Aaron Raymond, just letting Austin Mitchell and Ryan Wayne continue to run you down, as we see Michael Allen come down pit road from a little bit further back. If you're seeing Wayne now as the main contender, down to 6 seconds behind you, you got to be shaking in your boots a little bit. You got to be like, what lap is the perfect lap to come down so that I cross that finish line first on lap 100? If you're Aaron Raymond on 2 tires at this moment, you got to be thinking you got to come down sooner rather than later, unless you're thinking that you're only going to take 2 tires again.
Here are the gaps and the lap time deltas throughout the top 3. Raymond, Gudger, Wayne. All trying to make something happen for these guys. And you see Raymond crossing the line one more time. This is 31.75, 10th gained for Gudger. He'll break to just within 2 seconds. 3/10 gain for Ryan Wayne. So Austin Mitchell's time has dropped off quite significantly. You did see him in that battle for 3rd as well. Jim Duda, Jared Duda, Dale Rapp, Jeff Gilmore, all in the pit road, as was Paul Witt that last time by.
And this will be the final pit stops unless we get another yellow flag. Maybe we'll see a couple of these guys decide to come down pit road one more time, depending on when the yellow falls. But as of now, if you're Ryan Wayne, I feel like you got to be licking your chops. You got to be pretty excited, knowing that he can take 2 tires on this next pit stop, be faster than Raymond on the next run, because he'll probably fit a lap or 2 after, if not a little bit more. And we think that Raymond is going to be taking 4. We think Aaron Raymond will take 4 from the race lead. So does he drop back even further? Ryan Wayne's got this lead down to under 5 seconds, and Aaron Raymond's coming down pit road.
Aaron Raymond does not want to let that gap come to where it's a threat. Michael Gudger, also sensing danger, is going to follow Raymond and does not want to allow himself to be undercut here by too much. Van Leer pits this time as well. Ryan Wayne stays out. He's going to play the long game.
I'm watching Aaron Raymond come down into his pit box right now. Is it going to be 2 tires or 4 tires for the driver, the number 6? Last time it was just 2. Is he going to take these left side tires 70 laps to the finish? Right side tires going on. Race truck down on the ground. I'm not seeing the left side come up. Finally, the left side coming up on the number 6. It is going to be a 4-tire pit stop for Aaron Raymond. Now it's all about what does Ryan Wayne do? Whenever he comes down pit road, is it going to be 2 tires or 4 tires? He stayed out 1 more lap, so he's going to have at least 2 lap pressure tires than your race leader.
And Sogak, the pole sitter, into pit road. He's going to drop out of the top 10, as will Ryan McRoberts, coming in just behind him. There is Ryan Wayne making his way down into turn numbers 3 and 4, and he is definitely staying out 1 more, and Austin Mitchell is right there as well.
But he can't stay out too late, right? You're letting Aaron Raymond dictate the rest of this race right now if you stay out too late. If you're a guy like Ryan Wayne, I feel like Wayne's got to come down, take 2 tires this time, or else he's basically giving the win to Aaron Raymond. You can't let him be out there on 4 fresh tires for this long. He's pushing it just a little bit too much to the limit, and he's to the outside of the racetrack in 3 and 4 this time, so he's not going to be coming down pit road again.
Trying to run down that number 4 truck. Oh, not clear! Ryan Wayne nearly turns himself across the nose of Swafford. You know what Wayne might be doing at Mitchell? They might be gambling on a late race caution to save them from having to lose a lot of spots coming down pit road now.
I get it, but man, if you're Ryan Wayne, you got a shot to win this race if you come down and take 2 tires a lap ago or the lap before that. Instead, he's staying committed to the outside race of the racetrack again, so I got to be thinking that they're thinking what you're thinking. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I think he had a shot to win this race if he comes down and takes 2 instead of 4 tires, but he's kind of giving it over to Raymond.
Aaron May, the next driver to come down pit road. Looking like this is going to be a battle between Raymond and Gudger still continuing to close, by the way. The gap is down to 1.3 now for the race lead.
Gudger had a better pit entry than Aaron Raymond. Cut down some of that gap to him. Wayne is staying out on the racetrack again. I'm shocked. I really thought that one of these guys, either him or Mitchell, had a chance to win this race if they come down, take 2 tires. Instead, they've just stayed on the racetrack way too long. Even if they come down and take 2 tires right now, Raymond's going to be in front of them.
Ryan Wayne still trying to track up, trying to make something happen behind Bruce Dudley, and Austin Rez are fighting it out for the 5th place spot as well. 36 people watching along on Green Flag TV right now, watching in anticipation as to who will take the W this afternoon. Welcome everybody to the show, one of the biggest audiences we've had since the start of the year. Right now, Wayne finally bails out to pit road, and Austin Mitchell has shot himself in the foot by staying out.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Wayne just shot himself in the foot even more than he had beforehand for staying out too late. His pit road entry was unbelievably slow. He got down to the pit road speed, or just about the pit road speed, way too early. And I'm watching him on pit lane right now. I see the right side tires going on. Is he going to be a 2 or a 4 tire pit stop for Ryan Wayne? Still in the pit box, Left side tires going on, so he's taking 4. He's hoping for a late race caution so that he just has newer tires than Raymond at the end of this thing. I just think he could have beat him if he came down 2 laps after and took 2 tires.
Watching the battle for what is right now on track 19th. This could go up to within 15th, though. Aaron May trying to hang on. Oh, no! Look out! McRoberts slides into the infield. He got turned, and I think he's going to manage to get that truck underneath him. What a save!
Oh, my goodness. He should have been nose-faced towards the inside of the racetrack all the way down to the pit wall. Somehow, some way, he hangs on to that race truck. I mean, great job hanging on, especially going through the dirt, missing the pit road cone, not getting that ridiculous illegal pit entry black flag that iRacing gives you for wrecking into pit road. So great job for him for avoiding that, but man, that hurts losing all that time.
Austin Mitchell continuing to stay out. He is begging for a caution right now, begging for something to upset this race so he can get down a pit road, get tires on, and not cost himself a potential win. But now, finally, fuel is going to force his hand. Mitchell is in a pit road.
there were still a couple guys that, you know, ran it really, really late on that last green flag run. So I think that a couple of guys still have another 5, 7, 8 laps in the tank. It's just, are they going to use the entire 5, 7, 8 laps that they've got left? And can they stay ahead of Raymond? I'm seeing just about everybody on pit road except for Mike Campbell in the 71 that had to come down beforehand. That was in front of Aaron Raymond. So it's looking like it's just Campbell hanging on out there, hoping for a caution. Everybody else deciding to come down pit road. The strategy just did not work out.
Mitchell, Lane, Bowaldo, Kirafides all down to pit road, this time by 47. Cosplaying as the 4 will make his way back out to the racetrack this time around. Campbell still has yet to pit. The gap, though, for the net race lead down to just 0.8 of a second. This fight still is not over. Gudger is closing by over 1/10 a lap on average, and that's more than enough to get him before the end of the race.
Yeah, where does the speed come from Gudger, right? Whenever these guys have been on kind of similar pit cycles, it seems like Aaron Raymond has just been ever so slightly quicker, you know, through the entirety of the race. But
oh
Raymond
no!
finds a pit stop.
Oh no!
That's going to help Gudger out even more.
Campbell into pit road. Gudger now up to the front. Noah Swafford waiting impatiently behind Aaron Raymond. Now, critically, Swafford is faster than Raymond right now because he's got fresher tires. The problem is he can't reasonably get around him without holding him up enough to the point where Gudger gets involved in this fight.
Well, and this lap time by Gudger actually lost 1/10. So Raymond starting to stretch that gap back out. I'm thinking Gudger was just running unbelievably hard at the beginning of the stint, trying to cut down that gap. Now stuck at the 7/10 of a second mark. Can Gudger find any bit more speed to be able to catch up to Aaron Raymond? And for all these guys further back in the pack, guys like Anozagak, Witt, Duda, Lear, the other Duda, Wayne, May, Hales, the guys that took 4 tires later than Aaron Raymond on the last set of pit stops, can they get that caution flag that they're betting on?
10 laps to go, this time by for the driver out of Highgate, Vermont. 3-time repeat champion, still winless in 2025. Aaron Raymond has had a rough start to the season. He has not been able to really get the results that we know him for. He hasn't been able to take those dominant wins you know him for. Only one top 10. And that top 10 came from a 6th place finish at Daytona. It was outside of the top 15 at Atlanta 1 week ago. He is in desperate need for some good points, and this race win is just what the doctor ordered.
Well, you're saying that a little early. We still got 9 laps left. You never know if that yellow flag's going to fly, especially with a lot of these guys on different tire strategies, right? There's going to be slower cars dropping through the field as faster cars come through. Could create some moments of contention throughout the pack as all these guys still fight for spots inside the top 5, top 10, even all the way outside towards the 20th place position. It's just hard racing all throughout.
We have been green since lap 34 of this race. It's been a long green flag run, but it's been a hard-fought green flag run for everybody involved. Duda, oh, contact between Jared Duda and Aaron May as they get off of turn number 4. And Duda having a near miss, and oh, he's going to get to that bumper. He's going to turn him in turn 1. Not happy at the 53.
Oh my goodness, these two racing hard. That's the caution that Aaron Raymond does not want to see. Luckily for him, these two separating before it kind of gets even worse. You can see coming out of turn number 4, the 24 just way faster on the outside groove. Duda squeezes him up, but the 24 honestly comes off the wall ever so slightly, makes a little bit of door contact, but it's inconsequential door contact, right? Nothing big out of it. And then coming out of turn 1, I mean, to be honest, the 24 kind of cleared himself down into the corner a little bit too much. He wasn't quite clear and just decided to take it. Maybe a little aggressive from May, but ultimately it's worked out for him. He's fighting for 6 now.
To the outside of LeBon Van Leer, Paul Witt and Ryan Wayne are battling it out for the 4th place spot just up the road. So this fight here for 6th. May gonna get clear. He does have 5th place still in his sights though, just up the road.
Still 6 laps to go. Does that yellow flag come out that burns Aaron Raymond? He's on some of the oldest tires on the field. The only thing that can throw this race for a loop right now and change who we think is going to win it is going to be that yellow flag. And like I said, it's still hard racing all throughout the field. comers and goers all throughout as everybody on different pit strategies. 5 laps left now for Aaron Raymond.
Grutzmock to the inside of Hales. Whoa, boy. Jim Duda, Zane Bailey coming together. Bailey scrapes the wall. Gonzalez nearly taking Hales out off of turn 4. So this pack coming together a little bit more. That aggression picks up when you get into these final 10 laps, no matter where you are in the field.
It's tight.
Oh, no.
Duda all the way on the door. Oh, my goodness, they somehow got out of that. I thought for sure a couple of these guys were wrecking. The 388.
If it's a wreck, it's going to come from this group here.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. I would have to agree with you. That's a pretty daggum safe bet. A couple people unlapping themselves around Raymond right now. Kind of proving contentious for them. The only thing is Gutcher's almost 2 seconds back, so it's not going to be a problem as long as there's not an accident. But, man, Jim Duda is driving like he wants an accident. Sorry, Jared Duda driving like he wants an accident in the back half of the top 10.
He's not one to give up on spots. One truck did catch the fence there. That was Nicholas Bronze coming off the wall there. Oh, now Jared Duda clears himself across Bailey's nose. Bailey cuts him some slack. One truck slow on the apron in turn 4.
Should be off the racing surface and not provide any type of an issue. Shouldn't provide the caution. 2.5 laps left. So only a lap and a half until Aaron Raymond takes the white flag and the yellow flag becomes obsolete. Can he get there? He's coming out of turn number 4 right now. He just needs this thing to stay green for one more circuit around.
Oh my goodness. Gonzalez being blocked by Van Leer big time here. Mirror driving for the 60, the 90 to the inside. 3 wide off of turn number 4. Grutzmacher pulls clear from the outside. How aggressive now is the 60 to get back around the 90 because they made contact a couple times in the back straightaway last time by. Van Leer trying to stuff it in. Gonzalez pulls clear from the top, and that should secure a white flag for Aaron Raymond.
Aaron Raymond coming out of turn number 4, coming to take the white flag. Looks like he's going to get there before any type of caution comes out, so this race will be official in just one lap's time. And what a race it's been for Aaron Raymond. He's played the strategy perfect. I feel like some of his contenders, they had an opportunity, played the strategy so poorly that it almost handed it over to him, but Aaron Raymond will take it either way.
Aaron Raymond down the Nellis straightaway for the final time. He'll work his way into turn numbers 3 and 4. No competition today. No caution to disrupt the run. Aaron Raymond, first win of 2025 at Vegas.
Great run from Aaron Raymond. We talked about it in the pre-race, being back in 6th place in the standings, a little bit further back than he normally is, but it's going to be tight coming out of turn 4, further back in the back.
Oh, no!
He's still racing hard. The 24 gets spun, almost flips it over in the grass, and he's going to slide across the finish line at 8th place and tags St. Bailey after the finish.
Takes out Bailey at the stripe there. Nothing that Bailey did wrong for that, but a brutal run at the end for Aaron May. He is going to... There might be some words after the race with how all of that battle went down, but one driver that will not have controversy today, Aaron Raymond, his first win of 2025, finally gets his first win of season number 6.
What a race it was from Aaron Raymond. Ran it as clean as he possibly could. Obviously, the hard battle between Austin Mitchell at the very beginning of that 70-lap stint, or just about 70 laps that we had. He proved to be the victor off of that, right? Obviously, the strategy played out good for him, but he needed to get that track position, get that clean air, start pulling away from those guys as soon as he possibly could. And once he won that battle with Austin Mitchell, it was no looking back for the driver of the number 6 truck.
Just pirouetting that truck around to the front straightaway here.
I think he's better at burnouts than he is racing.
Right? We'll take a look back on that incident that happened that causes Aaron May to drop outside of the top 5 here. So this is on the back straightaway. Dylan Grutzmacher looking for the high side. Gonzalez just behind. And they come down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. May drifts up a bit, but it's clean. Tries to block Gonzalez, and Gonzalez wasn't having it. Look at that truck it up in the air, though.
And honestly, you can't really blame Gonzalez for that. May's throwing the block down the front straightaway. Gonzalez had the run. And ultimately, I don't really think it cost May anything. I mean, he lost the position battle with Gonzalez, but he did finish right behind Gonzalez. So really only losing that one spot off of it. Probably would have been a similar story had he not thrown the block. So it didn't really cost May too much coming out of the corner. But yeah, if you're Gonzalez, there's not really anything different you can do. You're not going to lift coming down to the checkered flag whenever somebody's
for sure.
Throwing a block off of turn 4. So honestly, just hard racing between the two. And, well, they still finished 7th and 8th, so not that big of a deal.
You know what they say, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And I think that's kind of what Gonzalez just taught Aaron May there with that incident coming off at turn number 4. But what a wild ride this afternoon. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. It was a wild race. It was a slugfest at points, but boy, they put on a show this afternoon. We'll come on home and give it up for Aaron Raymond, the driver to Highgate, Vermont, coming home to take his first win of 2025. Michael Gudger finishes in the number 2 spot. Anna Sogai picks up 3rd. Wayne in 4th. Paul Witt in 5th. Rootsmacher in 6th. Gonzalez in 7th. Then it is Aaron May, LeBon Findlier, and Bill Hales for the top 10.
Finishing in 11th place spot with a little bit of contact after the checkered flag. Zane Bailey, Jared Duda bringing it home 12th. Jim Duda bringing it home 13th. Bruce Dudley in 14th. Austin Mitchell rounds out the top 15 with Dale Rapp, Ryan McRoberts, Jeff Gilmore, John Holiday, and Dylan Wilvers rounding out the top 20.
Moving on down through the field in 21st place, down at the tail end of the field. You got Jim Colbensberger, John Walter Jr., Mike Campbell, the last truck to finish this race on the lead lap. From there, Noah Swafford finishes a lap down along with George Kirafides, Thomas Lane Jr., Xavier Dawkins-Batiste, Austin Rez, a tough break for him in his first opener. He was having a pretty good show. Was fighting for podium spots at one point. Anthony Lane, Robert Amaro finish outside of the top 25. They finished 29th and 30th.
31st was Chase Modzalowski, 32nd, Nicholas Braz, Joshua Jernigan, 33rd, Mike Allen, 34th, with Michael Campbell rounding out the top 35. Brad Slagle, Robert Chiswick, Cody Witt, Zachary Mertz, and Joshua Highbaugh round out the top 40, with Lee Tidwell, Michael Dow, and Vince Henschel rounding out the 43 car field here tonight.
Kevin Roy and Charlie Birch did not qualify for this race, with the KMC Sim Motorsports and CVP Racing's 31 and 81 respectively were not permitted to start this race. We will maybe see them back with racing action when we go racing 1 week from today at Homestead Miami Speedway. But overall, an extremely solid race that we had this afternoon. We're going to get the chance now to give a chit chat here to all the drivers that come home at the end of the night. We'll look to kick things off first and foremost with Aaron Raymond, the man of the hour, able to come home with a solid drive, taking the race win this afternoon. Dominant truck of the day for sure. Aaron had a bit of a rocky start to the season, but now you're back to form. Race win, first of the year here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How does it feel to finally conquer a track that has proven so difficult for you in the past?
Oh, well, it was nice to go to an actual racetrack where driver talent prevailed. And it was also nice to have a race at Las Vegas where I was in the lead and we didn't have a caution come out 25th start-finish line. So it was a fun race, a lot of good strategy in it.
Strategy was, of course, key this afternoon, but before we got to the strategy, it was a huge slugfest between you and Austin Mitchell there. It's something that we would expect to see in the final 10 laps, let alone the opening 30. How are things feeling between you and Mitchell right now? Is that potentially one to watch throughout the season?
I got nothing with him. I was just racing hard for the lead there. Just track position is important, clean air is important, so I was just doing what I could to stay up front.
And strategy game this afternoon. We saw you once again going for that two-tire strat instead of for the typical fuel only that most other drivers attempt throughout the course of this race. Is that going to be something we see repeated at Homestead next week?
Homestead, no. Some of the other more typical mile-and-a-half tracks, possibly. I know this truck is a lot less beneficial than it was with the old trucks, so we'll see.
We'll see indeed. Congratulations on taking your first win of 2025. We'll see you next week back in the Sunshine State.
Thank you.
Aaron Raymond comes home number 1 this afternoon. That brings us down to the Team IEL driver of Michael Gudger standing by. He's number 2 alongside Austin Edstrom.
Oh, Michael, you were ever so slightly running down Aaron Raymond the entirety of the second stint on tires during that long 65, 67-ish lap green flag run that y'all had at the end. And then in that third stint, you would cut it down to under a second, about 0.7 of a second, and then it just slowly climbed from there. Did the tires just fall off a cliff at that point from you pushing so hard to try to get up to the back of them, or was there anything else you could have done to maybe close that gap down and give them a fight for the win?
No, I was going to catch him. It's just a product of this like kind of racing where it's just essentially full throttle bottom feeding, and it's just boring in my opinion. But it was just impossible to run anybody down. Like 30th second, it wouldn't have mattered whatever you did. Only way you'd ever gotten by somebody is a crazy tire difference. But played the strategy right. Got a good finish out of this. Pretty happy overall with the result, especially after that horrible qualifying effort.
Yeah, I was about to bring up, you did qualify in the 24th place spot, bringing it all the way up to second, especially, there were some cautions at the beginning of the race. Maybe you benefited off of those pretty well to get yourself up towards the top 10, towards the top 5. But at the end of the day, you're able to, pick your way through the field and get up to the second place spot. If you had started in the top 5, could it have gone different? Do you think that there would have been a little bit of difference there and, you and Raymond would have been neck and neck coming out of pit road for that last pit stop?
Not really, honestly. I don't really think starting position had a lot to do with it. I don't know. I probably would have ended up right in the lead battle right around, I think that was like before the second pit stop. Whenever it was Aaron and that 7 car, they were just going at it. I think I probably would have ended up right in the middle of that, and that would have been me instead of the 7 car. So I feel like I probably would have actually ended up finishing worse had I actually started better, ironically.
Well, Michael, this being the first kind of speedway race of the season, the first mile and a half, non-super speedway that we've gone to, and you putting up such a good finish, does it kind of give you hope for the rest of the season? And if it does, what tracks are you looking forward to the most to be able to put your name on the top step of the podium?
I don't know. Fast tracks that hopefully will take a little bit more effort, a little bit more, dare I say it, skill than full throttle, like Bristol. I love Bristol. Absolute favorite track on the sim. Always good there. I think last season it was. The only reason why I finished terribly last season was the internet issues. But hopefully my internet will stabilize and we can hopefully get a good finish there.
Michael, congratulations on the second place finish. It was a heck of a run from you to go from 24th to second. Looking forward to seeing if you can continue that good string of momentum next week. And then, of course, whenever we go to Bristol here pretty soon as well.
All right, thank you.
All righty, that was your second place finisher, Michael Gudger. Next up, Nolan Rimple's going to be talking to our third place finisher.
Justin Anasogak coming home with back-to-back podiums this afternoon. And Justin, you've really made a huge splash in the series. You're now 3 for 3 in top 10s, 2 for 3 in top 5s, and in both those top 5s, second and third place respectively. I think it's safe to say you're going to be a huge title discussion throughout the entirety of the season. But talk us to the third place this afternoon, because you have been all over the map in terms of the leaderboards today.
It was more of pit strategy. I was hoping there would be a caution of about 10-15 to go so I can take my last set. That's what I was really just waiting on and just hanging in there for that long green flag run. But had a decent truck. It was just the untimely non-cautions that we needed. So, and I think first and second place played it just right by taking tires on that last yellow flag. And yeah, man, I just needed a caution right at the end there.
The caution didn't quite come your way, but you're still able to take a very convincing third-place finish, a few seconds up from Ryan Wayne back in fourth. So back-to-back podiums. We return to Florida next week. What's your take on the next 3 weeks? Because each track, we're slowing it down a little bit more from the one before. You, of course, have Homestead Miami Speedway, then Rockingham, then Bristol. So we're about to enter some real drivers' tracks.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at all 3 tracks. I know the setup at Bristol is a little iffy more than anything, but Rockingham and Homestead should be pretty fun.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then when we go racing 1 week from today. For now, congratulations on third, and we'll see you once again in Florida.
Yeah, thank you.
Justin Anasogak comes home number 3 this afternoon. Interesting takes there from a few of our podium finishers, Austin. Aaron Raymond saying, I like these tracks that take a lot of driver skill. Gudger thinks this track doesn't take enough driver skill. So it's interesting how different drivers have different perspectives. This racetrack is a bit unique in that fashion with the trucks, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I mentioned early in the race, right, the first 10, 15 laps of a run are super speedway-esque, right? Everybody is running about the same pace, almost full throttle through the corners. And to Raymond's point, I'll agree, it does take more skill or more typical driver skill than a super speedway. I think super speedways take a different type of skill. You can hone those skills and become very, very good at those racetracks compared to your competitors. But Vegas is a little bit more typical driver skill dependent. And I also got to lean into what Gutcher said. It's not the most driver skill dependent either out of the 1.5 miles that we go to. So, especially in the truck where they're relatively neutered down, everybody's running somewhat similar paces. I kind of get what both of them are saying. It takes, a little bit more of that typical skill than the super speedways, but still, it's not quite like you're going to a Chicagoland or a Rockingham or something of those sorts. And, we'll go to a couple of those racetracks later on in the season to figure out who's the best at those as well.
Before we go to Homestead Miami Speedway, though, 1 week from today, we still got a lot more racing action that's coming on up before next week, Saturday. Of course, when we duke it out once again for the SRA IEL Truck Series, it is going to be a beautiful Homestead Miami Speedway. But on Monday night, the High Tide Racing League MF Race Designs Premier Series sees the second round for the round of 12. They're swinging out to their last road course race of the season. Watkins Glen International hosts Monday night prime time. And then on Tuesday night, the SRA Cup Series swings out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time for the second trip to the gambling capital in the same week. The Beer League off for points racing, but they got an exhibition race coming on up. I don't know much about the format. All I know is no track limits, Rallycross Volkswagen Beetles at Summer Point Raceway. Austin, I think we're in for a treat on Wednesday night. And then, of course, it's back to form. Back to form as always for the last races of the month here when we go racing once again at Homestead Miami Speedway in the in this beautiful Saturday championship. For now, that's all the time we got for one afternoon. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. My name is Will Rempel alongside Austin Edstrom. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week at Homestead Miami Speedway.